Welcome to our post-game show. It's presented by the Maroon Club, enhancing 23 Division I sports. Join the Maroon Club today, and our Coca-Cola player of the game experienced the Coke side of life. Dan Mowdy is standing with probably with two frustrated Leopards. Here's Dan.
Well, Gary, I'll tell you what, first half of the Patriot League season, starting off against both service academies, coming out 1-2 from most standpoints wouldn't be too bad. But Fran O'Hanlon, I imagine you have a different point of view.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get off to a good start in the first half, and we didn't finish the half the way we would like. And I thought we did a better job starting out the second half, obviously getting back in it. But it's hard, coming back against a team that physical. And when we got back in it, we kind of lost our legs.
Talk about a little bit about the effects of Nick Littner. It seems like if you had him, it might have been a different story here today. He's certainly showing his worth here as he's recovering from the shoulder injury.
Well, would haves and could have. That we'll never know that. That's one of those arguments. We still got to be able to get it done. If somebody's hurt, next man up, and we had opportunities. To do a better job, and I can't use excuses. We don't know when he's going to be back, so we got to try to win without him.
Two on the road coming up, Bucknell and Boston for this week's Patriot League action. How do you feel going into those two games?
Well, I don't think about the two games. I think about the next game, and I think that's Bucknell. I'm not even sure. They have a great home court. We haven't won out there a lot. So we're going to have to regroup and do a better job and take care of the basketball as we go up there.
All right, Fran O'Hanlon trying to turn things around here on the road in the Patriot League. Thanks for joining us, Fran.
Thank you.
All right, let's turn to our player of the game with a career-high 14 points. It was hanging at 11 there for a little while, Zach. Zach Rufer, our Coca-Cola player of the game. And, Zach, we wanted to commend you, first of all, on really stepping up your game, which was pretty high-powered to begin with coming into this year. What do you see as the differences from this year from last?
I just another year of experience, just feel a little bit more comfortable out on the court, and obviously your team's really good, so finding me in good places to be successful.
And as far as shooting percentage goes, outrageous numbers here. 59.3% from the floor, 52.9% from the three-point arc, and that's before this contest. You definitely improved your percentages there. 4 for 6 from the floor, 4 or 5 from the three-point line. Tell me a little bit about the three-point shooting.
Well, I take all the easy shots for the team. I kind of get all the open looks. Seth, Joey, Nick, Dan take the brunt of the hard work, so I'm hitting open shots. It's not the tough thing to do for our team.
And let me ask you the same question I asked Coach here, Zach. The loss of Nick Linder to the shoulder injury obviously had some kind of effect here today.
Oh, huge effect. I mean, Nick's one of our best players, hands down. Facilitates the offense, really controls the game. So it was a big adjustment for us, and clearly didn't do a good job with it.
All right, well, Zach, good luck the rest of the way and some great numbers here today. Filling out the stat sheet with 2 assists, 4 rebounds, and a couple of steals along the way. Congratulations on being our Coca-Cola player of the game.
Thank you.
Zach Rufer, now back to Gary and John.
Zach with a career high. We congratulate him. I know he's a little down because of the loss today. Let's take a look at the highlights, and we'll get to the final numbers.
Well, Gary, there were plenty of them, and really you got to give credit to Navy. They did what they had to do. Tillman Dunbar, we talked about his return this year, his impact on the Navy team. He was so quick. A drive to the hoop, then a pull-up jump shot. Tillman Dunbar does for Navy a lot of what Nick Lidner does for Lafayette. On the Lafayette side of things, Danny Trist did a great job on the boards inside. Fran O'Hanlon went into the halftime locker room, talked about Lafayette needing to be more physical. Danny Trist answered that call. Zach Rufer, our Coca-Cola player of the game, did a terrific job trying to make up for the loss of Nick Lidner. Bryce Scott from downtown. Lafayette showed flashes of getting their offense going. And then here's the call, Gary, that a lot of people think the game changed on. It's 51-51 at this point. There's a trip of Dan Trist. It went to as a no call. This is a great play by Dan Trist. Watch him see the defense. Seth Hendricks moving without the ball. Vintage Lafayette. But I'll tell you, in the end, it was Brandon Venturini. That three came right after that controversial no call. Then Venturini with a steal. It kind of put the icing on the cake, or the nail in the coffin, if you will, for Lafayette. But if you're Navy, it did what you had to do. Worth Smith, his only 3 of the entire contest. He came in, Gary, having only attempted 5 threes. And then Joey Tazinski kept Lafayette within striking distance with an incredible 3 off an inbounds play. But it was too little, too late. Dunbar, here's the tap in. Another semi-controversial call. No goaltending by Will Kelly. Boy, look at Seth Hendricks. Lafayette just never goes away. Their ability to shoot the three is always present, but give credit. Navy is a different kind of basketball team right now, Gary. They got some favorable calls on the road, which is unusual, but you can't go to sleep on Navy with Worth Smith and Tillman Dunbar in the mix.
And don't let their record fool you. Even though they are at 6-8, they went up against Michigan State, Notre Dame, Providence, teams like that in the independent schedule, and it certainly has made them better and stronger as they win their third in a row today. For Navy, there's 69 points on 27 field goals. They had 6 three-pointers, and they were 9 for 13 from the foul line. They were led by Worth Smith with 15. Brandon Venturini had 16, and Kendall Tillman Dunbar with 15 points. You get a look at the individual numbers. For Lafayette, as they go to 9-4 overall, 1-1 in the Patriot League, there's 65 points on 22 field goals. They had 10 triples, 11 for 14 from the foul line. They were led by Seth Hendricks with 23 today, and Zach Rufer had 14 points. He was 4 for 5, as Dan mentioned, from beyond the arc. So Lafayette will travel to Bucknell. As Fran said, that's a place where they have struggled many, many, many times. The women will be back here on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. That's where we'll be, as we'll have the women taking on the Bison of Bucknell. There you have it. Final score, 69-65. The midshipmen of Navy beat Lafayette this afternoon. For John Leone, for Dan Mowdy, Rick Kehoe, the RCN television team, we thank you so much for watching us. We'll see you on Wednesday night right here at Kirby. For all of us, I'm Gary Laubach. Goodbye, everybody.